What's up, sports bettors? What we're going to do in this video is just hit some bets because that's pretty fun. I'll also just add a tab, you know, kind of right here. Might as well just do it here. And we can start tracking profit and loss of live stream plays. So hopefully you're able to tail some of these. Hopefully we make some money. I mean, that's always a good thing. And hopefully it's fun. So let's start going through it. Any questions you have, you can feel free to put them. In the chat. The last live stream had a lot of people, so the last live stream was much better. If probably going to be much longer, but regardless, thought I'd come in here, hit some bets, and hopefully it's fun. And definitely not gonna. We'll try to answer any questions people have about sports betting, about the product, and also just how to make money. So betting on sports, how to become a sharp, how to do this full time, how to think about sign-up bonuses, how to do whatever. Really just trying to help talk ideas, sports betting strategies, always open to new ones. So over 7.5 Rangers Mariners is the first play we're going to add for the live stream. I just hit it. And then I started this live stream, 370 at plus 162 odds. And this bet should settle today, which just makes it easy, to kind of grade how much money we're making. So we'll go ahead and this will be our first bet. And then profit and loss. So I'll just make this, I'll just call this net. Net. I don't know why this looks so weird. Profit / loss. Okay. I think that's fine. That's the first play I have. Over 7.5 Rangers Mariners. Plus 162 odds. I don't know. Was a positive EV bet right here. We have really high confidence that it's good because the Betfair exchange, they only have 5 cents in market with. So really tight, efficient market. That seems great. So that's the first play we'll track. And, I gave out some bets in the previous live stream, but we'll start tracking on this live stream. This play is still available. Still looks really good, right? DraftKings only giving you plus 135. So the no vig line on DraftKings, if you just put in their odds, plus 135 minus 165, is going to be plus 146. We're getting plus 162, right? This is an arb to the Betfair exchange. It just looks great to every sports book. WinBet casually just has 50 cents of market with. Betfair exchange only has 5 cents. So, high vig sports book, low vig exchange, stuff like that, pretty interesting. When I refresh, it keeps saying none are found. Do you have filters on? Good evening. Can you make a video or show how to bet plus EV or compare lines on Prize Picks? Great question, and yeah, sure. Hi, hope your day is going well. Do you have any underdog props you like? Yo, people love these Prize Picks platforms. Absolutely fascinating. Do we need an odds jam Prize Picks? Would that be fun? I think that would be fun. But that's good. This is good. I like seeing that. So we have Acuna under. So he has 0 bases. Let's stay there, Ronald. And then we got Bobby Witt under. So we gave out a lot of picks on Underdog, but I'm happy to give out some more. The best bets on positive EV bets have super quick. How quick does OddsJam get odds? Like less than 5 seconds, 1 second. It depends on the market. I think some futures are a little slower, but everything's basically real time. And plus EV on Prize Picks. The video I recommend, so let me just pull it up quickly if you haven't seen it, but I can put it in this chat, I believe. Don't have Prize in Louisiana. You don't have Prize Picks, you don't have Underdog, but if you go here and you just look up so this is the first video we did on Prize Picks. I think it's pretty accurate. I tap in every day. Let's stay hot. Hopefully we stay hot. Let's see what's out there. And we can go through it. So we can go here, and then you can go to Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy. So we can go through kind of the full shebang, but right now it doesn't look like anything's there, right? I mean, most of the games have started. Oh, wait, I picked the wrong thing. I want to pick these, all 4. So I'm trying to think of how to explain this, and you can let me know if it's helpful or not helpful. So we can go through Underdog Fantasy first, right? Underdog Fantasy, any 3-pick entry has the odds of minus 122. And you may be like, how does that make sense? Is essentially like any pick on Underdog is going to be minus 122. And the reason is you're getting 100 to win 600, right? But this is 100 to win 500 in profit. So you're getting plus 500 odds on Underdog Fantasy for any 3 picks, right? Doesn't matter what you select. You're getting plus 500 odds for 3 picks. So what you can essentially do is be like, okay, I know I'm getting plus 500 odds for 3 picks, right? So what is the implied odds on each bet, right? What is the juice Underdog is charging? We know for a 3-pick entry, Underdog Fantasy is always giving us plus 5. I don't need a date, but they're giving us plus 500 odds, right? So the question is just like, okay, like, what is every pick? So first, what we need to do is say, okay, when we're getting plus 500 odds, what's our break-even win rate? And this may be a little confusing, but it's kind of like if you're placing bets at plus 500, how often do you have to win to break even in the long run? And it's 1 out of 6 times. So break-even win rate is going to be 1 out of 6, right? And that's also a date. So long story short, I recommend watching the other video, and you can also just go to a parlay calculator. And this is hopefully helpful. And if it's not, you can let me know, and I'll explain it another way. But on Underdog Fantasy, we know $100, right, gets us $500 in profit, $600 in total payout, 100, 600, $500 in profit. So essentially, if you knew every pick was priced the exact same, it would be minus 122. That's the implied juice they're charging. If you assume every single pick on Underdog, right, they price everything the same. 3 picks is always plus 500. So essentially, they're giving you the same odds on every player prop in any parlay where every leg is minus 122 and you have 3 picks, is going to come out to plus 500. So, yeah, exactly. Like having these filters on, just remember to turn them off. The amount of bets I lose by 1 point happens to the best of us. I had Arkansas money line. Underdog 5-leg is so clutch. Underdog 5-leg is so clutch, and it's fun. It is fun. Is there an optimal time of day? Nah, you can do it any time of day. I mean, the math holds. The math holds by sport, and it really holds by sports book, right? What's beautiful about, really understanding kind of the math behind sports betting is like these concepts of looking for inefficiencies, thinking about what should the price of this be if there weren't any vig, like what price would I be happy to place this bet? It really applies to anything, right? Like not just football or not just betting at a time of day. Like, on Caesars, I'll have college football bets, NFL bets, bets far away. So we went through in the last live stream this bet on Stolyarenko. We bet her plus 115 way earlier, and she's now a minus 115 favorite. So, like, the math holds in terms of always looking for value, always getting an edge. Like, we bet this girl plus 115. She's now minus 115. So, kind of whenever you can find a bet with an edge, like if we wouldn't have bet her initially on Caesars plus 115, whenever I saw this bet on September 11th at 3:04 p.m., I guess that's when I saw it. If we wouldn't have placed this bet, It wouldn't be available right now. Caesars has her minus 110, 25 cents away. So you kind of always got to be looking for opportunities and for these bets. Good question, Corey. Always wondered the same. Great question, Corey. So kind of try to place them in, as far away as you can. Or not as far away as you can, but I mean, if there's a bet with an edge, you can place it and the math will hold. And like a lot of the inefficiencies in the market are when lines are first posted or after injuries, when sharp action comes in, like you can't wait too long or for it to get too close to game time. Otherwise, the bets are going to be gone. And the markets are going to be so efficient and there's not going to be much news coming out affecting markets and stuff like that. So this bet on the Falcons still looks good, but logging into PointsBet is a pain. I already bet on the Browns as well. This we took in the last live stream, under 38.5 in Navy Air Force. So nothing like particularly new, but essentially like on Prize Picks or on Underdog Fantasy is the way these platforms work is they're just like, hey, here's our juice, or, we're giving you plus 500 for 3 picks. So the implied odds they're giving you is minus 122. So what that means is if you can find 3 picks that you believe should be priced at more negative odds than minus 122, or where you like the bet at minus 122, then your Prize Picks entry is going to be profitable. So, in terms of EV, this bet on Joey Bart to get a hit, DraftKings pricing this minus 145, Bet Online minus 147. Getting this at minus 122 implied odds. If you can find 3 picks like that, that seems great. And I'm pretty sure we actually have this Joey Bart guy. So let's keep all these guys, no basis for Harper, but you got to get a hit. Jeremiah Carmelier, whatever his name was. Jamire Candelario. We need this guy to get a hit because it was an incredible bet, but he needs to get it. So under 1.5 basis for Witt looks good. And yeah, I mean, Underdog 5 picks are fun. They're clutch. So we have Ronald, but essentially it's like you can find 3 picks. Well, we do have him, I think. Yeah, we have Joey Bart right here to get a hit. And that's one of the picks you can kind of see on Underdog Fantasy. That's still available. So obviously, most of the games have started. This was one of the lower EV picks. It's only 1.15%, but here's 3 picks you could go with. 1, 2, 3. And it would be lower EV, but whatever. You could still play it. Another thing that I think is interesting is, oh shit. This looks incredible. Oh my God. So we want to go to him over 3. So just looking at data, and again, these markets move. So we want to remove these. And I want him over 3. And we'll talk about it in a sec, but load it up. And we want Joey Bart, and then I forget the last person. Go. Filters, no. Sportsbooks, no. Underdog Fantasy 5 pick. So 5 picks have the same implied odds as a 3 pick. And what you can see here is this Jose Urena guy. I mean, sportsbooks are pricing is over 3.5 at minus, heavily favored. And we can get over 3 on Underdog. It's yeah, sign me up. So what we can do is just open up the Sam Haggerty guy. And this is an absolute hammer. So that we hammer. And why do we like it? Let's go through it, and hopefully you guys are able to lock it in. If you haven't signed up yet, there's a link below. You get a $100 deposit bonus as well. So, 2 of the plays are just positive EV plays. I truly believe, you can basically blindly bet with filters on and you'll make money. But what we also found is this middle bet, right? Which is really cool because middle bets, they just they show you, and we've gone through this and I've said it, but they show you where are sports books setting the line at different levels in the first place. So here you can see, on Underdog, his strikeout line is at 3, whereas on Pinnacle, they still have the over 3.5 juiced, so OddsJam is showing it to you. And it's weird because there's 3 pitchers in this game with player strikeouts markets, but whatever. What you can see, who is John Brebbia and why is his strikeout line at half? Is this guy the worst pitcher of all time? Perhaps. Wow. But what you can see here is just this is just data. I've never seen this pitcher pitch. But what you see is Underdog, they have the line at 3. I mean, we literally just bet it. In every sports book, I mean, FanDuel has his over 3.5 minus 205. Caesars minus 173. DraftKings minus 165. Right? This is a play you want to demolish. Does anyone have questions about that or that helpful? Do you guys get it down? Is there some algorithm or patterns you follow? Not really. Do you have an opinion on hedging parlays and power plays? I don't hedge. Nope. Don't believe in it. Not a believer. Last time I hedged a bet, it won. And it was going to be one of my biggest bets ever, and I decided to hedge out of it, a lot of it, and it's not a good feeling to hedge either, because then when you win. But of course, it's good in terms of reducing risk. But I'd say in terms of hedging, it's as long as you can find a good line, it's the same things. If you want to hedge, look for value. Try to line shop, get the best line. Same things, because even if you have a guaranteed win, if you hedge out of a bet, you should still be line shopping to make sure your hedge is maximizing value for you, especially if you're going to be hedging a lot of money. So, yeah. So we can add this. I mean, we might as well add this. So we have Urena over 3 strikeouts, and this is on Underdog. And then we have Bart hit. Joey Bart hit. Joey Bart to get a hit. And then we have Sam Haggerty to get a hit. We hit this for $500. It's plus 500 odds. And this is going to settle today. So hopefully you guys were able to get this down. I think this play is incredible. Absolutely incredible. This guy's had 5, 4, and 6 strikeouts in his last 3 outings. Let's go. So hopefully you guys were able to get it down. We can see. Still available. So what I'm going to do is hammer it for another. They limit you, but what we can do is try going here. So if we go to Haggerty, Urena, they removed it, I think. So hopefully a lot of you, that typically means a lot of people are able to get it down. Looked really good. So doesn't mean it's guaranteed to win. J.K. Dobbins under 40.5 rushing yards. Maybe you got some opinions on it. But another strategy I like, let me just pull it up, is it takes a second to load. And you guys can let me know if you Urena off of Underdog. Just missed it. Taylor, where you at, man? No, I'm just kidding. But some of these move fast, especially if we're giving them out live. That is not going to stay around long if there's 20 people hitting it at the same time. They're pretty smart in terms of if everyone's hitting it at the same time, especially. So if you go here and then you go to NFL, what I like to do, and I feel like I've gone through this, so it's probably repetitive at this point, is you can kind of browse side by side here. So those are pretty interesting. So Kirk Cousins, rushing yards line, 3.5 yards. You can like look at the whole market as a whole. So what was the play I liked? And is it still there? Let's take a look. Heck yes. Let's go. I hit Javonte. Well, I mean, I've done like 5 videos on this, so you had your opportunity. I'm not trying to sound like if you didn't see it, but we had Williams. I had him under 60.5 rushing yards. Every sports book is at 50.5, 51.5. Looks like they moved it down to 52.5. We were all over that play. Williams under 60.5, moved down to 52.5. So you can use this, like the goal is, so if we go to passing yards, or we can go to receiving yards. Receiving yards has more kind of opportunity. And receptions. Receptions isn't a bad one to kind of look at, just using data, following the lines. So you can kind of see if there's any discrepancies. Jamar Chase is 76.5. If you're looking to fade him, Underdog has the highest line. I mean, this Chris Olave guy, still a pretty big discrepancy. 54.5 receiving yards on Prize Pick, 62.5 on Underdog. You can kind of continue to go through. There was one massive one. Let's see if it's still there. It's still there. Yeah, I mean, you guys all should be over Mooney under 40.5 receiving yards. Prize Picks has this at 29.5. Sportsbooks have it at 34.5. This, he has a pretty low receiving total. That's a big middle. Need 5 picks for Sunday. Curtis Samuel rushing yard. Mike Pittman receiving yards. What's a good number of plus EV bets to place per day? More equals merrier. I'd say in terms of placing bets, more is definitely better. Obviously, you'd rather have more things with an edge over not things with an edge. But obviously there's a time consideration, and we got lucky. We found this arena bet, which was, ridiculous and incredible and perhaps the best bet of all time. Not actually, but very clearly very good. And I don't know what happened that made this bet show up an hour before the game started, but it did. So it's kind of more the merrier. And obviously, as someone who's a very big gambler, I place a lot of EV bets every day. But it's also you want to make sure you're not losing, sight on the bets being good and liking them and stuff like that. It's not necessarily I'm rushing to try to find as many plays as I can with J.K. Dobbins under 40.5 rushing yards. The EV percentage is low. All these sports books have VIG. So you're kind of trying to determine, is this bet good? Is it not good? I'd rather do more research and bet bigger and be so sure that my bet is a slam dunk, right? I'd rather have 5 bets like this arena bet per day as opposed to 50 where I'm this bet is hit it big, right? It's so clearly good. And sure, he may have one strikeout and the bet may lose. The bet is just so good, right? Looking at the entire market, they moved to 4. Oh my God. They moved to 4. That's classic. That's funny. They moved up a full strikeout. That's a huge deal. 3 to 4 for a pitcher like Urena, whose strikeout total is so low, is massive. But I would rather hammer the over 3 and just place less bets in general over go around like betting stuff like this J.K. Dobbins pick. And I'm not saying this is bad. It's definitely not bad. It's just like they're still big in these markets, this. So like it's not a slam dunk, right? By any stretch of the word. So more bets is merrier, of course, though, if you have more time and more time to find good bets and sharp bets and stuff like this. Mooney is a bomb threat. Scares me a little. That's a fact. So Mooney is a bomb threat. Scares me a little. I mean, yeah, like you can skip it. I mean, I don't know. But like that's a big middle, right? Like you'll notice when FanDuel releases lines, because they have the alternate lines, like this play is going to show up on the middle screen. If someone doesn't hammer it, I'm pretty sure I've hammered it as much as I can. But there's other plays, just nothing as big. Like obviously Diggs is 78.5 to 83.5. Basically, if you want to fade anyone, Underdog looks like they're higher than everyone everywhere. So like it's just how many of them are worth betting. Devontae, they opened like 20 yards higher, I think, 1 week than everyone else, which was crazy. But what we can do is just kind of, anyone like anything? Big discrepancies. Pittman's smaller than I saw it this morning. St. Brown, anyone like under 80.5 for Lions Seahawks for St. Brown? Doesn't seem terrible. Like this is a 6-yard middle. Obviously, the more yards in between, the better. And the lower the number, the better, right? Like a middle of 1, which we had on Urena, right? Like this was a 1 or half a strikeout middle, but the distribution is so low. Like this guy rarely, like he typically is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 strikeouts. That's kind of like what he does, right? So like if you just assume, like there's probably the probability he throws 4 strikeouts or 3 strikeouts is like 40-something%, right? Or maybe not that high, maybe like 37.5 or something, right? Like it's huge, right? Because his distribution is centered so low. Here we have a 6.1, Amari Cooper under. Curtis Samuel under, Cowboys Commanders. Cowboys. That's my team. And I grew up hating the Cowboys because I was a Redskins fan. But they've been our big bet of the week numerous weeks, 2 weeks in a row, and we're up 15.4K, and like 8 of that is coming from them on these YouTube plays I've just given out in the full-length videos, which makes me seem smart. Smarter than I am. But this is just a massive middle. I mean, anyone like Mooney under 40.5? This guy has 27 receiving yards on the season when I checked. So he has 27 receiving yards in 3 games. Doesn't seem terrible. Oh, here's another big one. Yeah, there's Chris Olave one. So there's some you can look at, and this is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if people find this view interesting. You'll be able to see when odds change, kind of stuff like that. So then you can go to receptions. And something's definitely screwed up here because there's no way Pinnacle is at 27.5. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But we haven't even released this. So or maybe it was, I'm not sure. But there are some discrepancies that are interesting to look at, that's for sure. Do you look at any projections? What do you mean by projections? No, I just follow the math, the markets. It's the only intuitive, logical way where you can back out a profit margin of a bet. Now, there are some middles that are so clearly good enough to bet, such as the Where was it? So there are some, middles that are just very clearly very good. So, or there are some discrepancies that are very clearly very good, but for the most part, like that Mooney one where it was 29.5 to 40.5. Like this is just clearly like 11 yards difference here, like 6 yards. Like it's just very clearly good. But for the most part, it's just EV betting because everything else is kind of finger to the wind. Like people say they have simulations, they have models. It's like, come on. Like how, especially NFL money lines, people who say like, I'm a net winner on NFL money lines. It's like there are millions of dollars bet, such an efficient market. Like the way you beat the NFL is you positive EV bet, you find line discrepancies, you look for value. You don't just like, know if the like there's just so much money bet. It's such an efficient market. What's a average OU on receiver yards? I don't know because once you include all the crappy players and stuff like that, So you're definitely not taking the under. St. Brown had a good matchup. He's becoming an elite wide receiver. Market not onto him yet. Perhaps. Market smart though. So where's this data on the OddsJam site? I'll just put a link in here. It's not like public, but you guys are on my live stream, so I appreciate it because I feel famous because people like data and sports betting. Not actually, but you can just go to this link. It may break. I'm not sure. It's not public. But you can just go to that link directly and it should work. I'm not positive that it will always work, but before it's publicly launched, you can go there. So hopefully it's cool to look at. But it's essentially just another way to view data, right? It's like all the OddsJam betting tools are just ways to view data for different purposes, either making risk-free money, just browsing odds on the site free, like looking at NFL lines, whatever. It's all the same stuff. It's just data sliced and diced in different ways because that's all that matters. As a sharp bettor, I truly believe, at least for the main sports, it's really all that matters. Maybe there's some people who can have an edge in Russian ping pong who just watch games and they just like know Russian ping pong better than the bookmakers, but like NFL, not happening. I don't believe it. So still both of these bets available. I still think this bet's incredible. It's an arbitrage bet. I don't know. So gave out a couple bets. Hopefully some of them hit. Nothing's better than hitting some bets. And St. Brown is hurt, so line opened and unders might be the play, but unreal matchup. Yeah, we'll go live. I mean, I think we're gonna start doing it more. It's more I think there's gonna be 2 p.m. is gonna be Randall, 5 p.m. is gonna be Matt, and then I'm just gonna go live all the time whenever I feel like it to hopefully just get different people and see what's helpful and stuff like that. So we launched a plus plan. There's a plus plan that like kind of offers that. I mean, maybe it's just like, yeah, maybe. Is there a strategy to mix money line bets with prop bets? Probably better to just play some positive EV parlays. That's my recommendation. I love placing some good old positive EV parlays. And I'm pretty sure any parlay you ever bet, they just like automatically accept. But that's what my gut tells me. So got some NFL props, whatever, but it's kind of like the same stuff at this time at night. Nothing's better than probably Saturday morning, maybe Friday night when everyone's partying and lines start to move. In college football, you get the NFL, sharp action coming in, lines start to move. there's definitely a lot of opportunity on Fridays. You get UFC lines moving around Saturday mornings. A lot of good bets out there. Yep. No problem. Not sure what you're referring to, but appreciate it. Thoughts on money lines with key players questionable? Trust the market. Market smart, market efficient. Same like with the price of a stock, right? It's just like that's the price. And it's just like it takes into account all the information. If Russell Wilson's questionable, it's priced into the Broncos money line. If it's already priced in. If someone, if a player gets hurt, it's priced in. It's priced in very quickly. Yep. Yes. We got a lot of videos on that. So we got videos on that. Yeah, 3-pick or 5-pick, because on Underdog, any 3-pick entry, what you'll notice is like if you go to a parlay calculator, 3 picks plus 500 on Underdog, 5 picks is plus 1900. So roughly the same. I mean, minus 122, about as close as you can get. So that's why I'm always playing 5 picks and 3 picks. You only basically want to play 5 picks and 3 picks. Avoid 2 picks, especially. 2 picks are, at least on Underdog, especially when you can do a 3-pick at minus 122, there's no reason. This guy needs to get a hit. Who else needs to get a hit tonight? These guys are cruising. No bases. Let's keep that going. I like unders. I'm a big unders guy. I much love the sweat of unders as opposed to overs. I hate overs. I'll ride this under train. So, Judge go yard. But yeah, I mean, is the minus 122 for Underdog the implied odds? Yeah, it is. So, kind of answered the questions. Hopefully it was helpful. We'll be going live a lot more just because I think it's more engagement, obviously, and it's helpful to kind of hear what people care about and what people want to talk about and learn about and bet in the first place, what markets they want added. So feel free to ask anything, negative feedback, positive feedback, all ears. So I appreciate you guys. The under sweat sucks, but most squares take overs. Unders are fun. I like unders. I don't know. Over 11 in a Rockies game at Coors, not fun, in my opinion. Yeah, of course. And start the bet, winning on an under, and the public usually love the over. Yeah, I hate the over. I hate the over. I mean, like guys like this are the reason I hate overs. It's like, why can't you just get one hit? And why is it the 8th inning? And why does this bet? Okay. So I think it maybe depends. I love these under 1.5 bases. I honestly find these platforms quite addictive, but they're also easy to beat. So maybe that's why. And they're fun because you can get big payouts and they force you to bet parlays. So you always have these sweats that are $100 to win $2,000. I'll take it. I'll ride. Can be quite tilting though. Yesterday we did decent, but this guy ruined the night. Then who else ruined the night? This guy ruined the night. You get a lot of guys ruining nights. This guy ruined the night. So you don't have to win that often, though, to be profitable, which is the fun part. That was a great night. And then, I mean, we've come like for the amount of bets we've placed. So here he had me on Underdog. Like we've been doing quite well in terms of, just how many we've, won or at least been a pick away from that was a 5 pick. So I got a very good feeling about Underdog and just kind of these videos going forward. So save filters, we're doing that. So that's going to happen. You're definitely going to get filters. But anyways, we'll see if there's any last minute bets. And then we can call today. So some player props coming out. I mean, DraftKings has this favored. I mean, Iowa State under 30.5. That doesn't seem terrible. So maybe we play it. And sometimes these picks may seem a little random, what we end up going with, but part of it's also just like PointsBet has a 2-factor authentication in New York. So then I'm going to have to go get my phone just to log into a new sports book. Some of these sports books always log you out fast. So not actually, but like, sometimes people think there's more of a science to placing the bet than there is. Like, I truly believe all these positive EV bets are worth a sprinkle. This we bet earlier. So what we can do is go to, and of course there's considerations for why certain bets are better than other bets. I really do like this play. I mean, just given where the market is, it looks great. Bet Online had the point spread at 1 last time we checked. Like, this bet looks great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't feel like walking over to my phone at this exact moment. And if it hasn't moved in 35 minutes, hopefully it doesn't move by the time I go get my phone. But, like FanDuel, we already got pulled up. We'll place a bet there. So under 30.5 in the Iowa State game, we can take a peek at the event page. It's like, DraftKings has the under favored. Pinnacle has the under favored. 2 sportsbooks are telling us the under should be favored. What we can do next is just kind of like switch to another location to kind of get a sense of what do other sportsbooks think, aside from just DraftKings and in Pinnacle. And obviously we're going to put the most weight in Pinnacle's odds, but then it's like, oh, Casumo, they have the over favored. So does North Star Bets, but these books have the exact same odds always. So it's kind of like one sports book telling you the odds are the same. It's like there's some considerations, but for the most part, you can just kind of view the whole betting market as a whole. And here, maybe this is a play you actually want to play smaller or skip because it's like, the market's pretty split. And I'd say the sharper bookmakers, Pinnacle, they have the under favored, but like sportsbooks are a little split with the under being favored on DraftKings and Pinnacle, the over being favored. So I don't think this is like a bad bet. Could be a great bet if it wins. But more than anything, it's like the market isn't, like synchronized. Like there's nothing better than when you look at this and every single bookmaker has the under 30.5 favored and we're getting plus 100. That's not what's happening here, right? So what we can do is maybe skip that, the opposite of what I said before, or just play it a bit smaller, right? There's nothing better than when you look at a bet and the whole market, just like this Falcons bet, is telling you, yeah, you should be betting this. DraftKings has it favored. Pinnacle has it favored. Clearly a good bet. So here, over favored, over favored, over favored, over favored. Caesar's giving you plus money. That's the play we'll go with instead. So we can go to Raise Guardians. It's not like the EV is incredible, but like still, we'll take it. It's late at night. And like, when all the sports books are, have a bet favored and you can get it. So we'll stake in units of 250. So no art really here to the bet size, just kind of placing whatever. So we got 250. There's the odd to 100. This bet's on 929. And this is over 7 in Raise Guardians. So this is in some of the YouTube descriptions. So we'll start tracking, not live videos. So this is just the EV formula. So this is not live profit. And then this is live profit, which will just be profit from my live streams, not Randall's. I don't know what Randall's going to do. And then we have over 7. And the game, this is how I like to think about my bets, is this bet is over 7. in Rays Guardians with a 1.17% profit margin. Okay. Over 7, Rays Guardians, 1.17% profit margin. We bet $500. The bet's worth $5.85. I'm not going to take a $5 bill for my bet because I believe it's worth $5.85. That's what the markets are telling me. Every sportsbook has this over favored. That's a play you want to go with. Or Caesars is smarter than every other sportsbook. But come on, right? Like Bet Online, Pinnacle, just data-oriented, market-oriented sports betting. And that's really what makes money. And then it's a volume game, right? You got to place a lot of positive EV bets to kind of see a return. And of course, that doesn't mean you have to bet a lot of money, but you can also bet, smaller and just kind of see how it goes over the course of 100 bets, 200 bets, whatever. And more bets is better, right? You're essentially like finding coins that are weighted in your favor and you're flipping them. And doesn't mean the coin's always going to land on your side. Rays Guardians game could have 0 runs tomorrow. It doesn't mean this was a bad bet. It's always going to be a good bet because every sportsbook has this favorite except for Caesars. So that's a play I want to be on. So, absolutely love Underdog. There we go. So, what is the hidden bets tab for? No idea what that means. What do you mean by hidden bets? I hit a nice parlay from you. For a little money, never use parlays. It can be profitable. I mean, like, there are a lot of promos too that require that you bet parlays, and we've hit a few of them. Weekend after weekend, we've been hitting these promotional parlays, which is great. That Caesars offers. So sometimes they'll show up here. So I like to check it every once in a while. And then I just go to the EV page. I find 4 picks that work. If it's only college football, you can, take off the filter by college football. Like a lot of good promos out there. The NFL one, if they had an NFL parlay promo right now, it's like, okay, here's our first pick, here's our second pick, and, we'll figure out 3 and 4. No. I bet it, but it's just it's a little more complicated because it's futures, so it's a little harder to tease out value and stuff like that. Would people be interested in this? I mean, we can do it. We can definitely do that. This connecting OJ with sports books and stuff like that. I don't understand why I can't bet because of Florida law. It's way above my pay grade. Some other sites is more focused on volume and no one mentions the width. Do you think that is better to work with a smaller volume, with a smaller market width, or a big volume? I mean, volume's important, but like that's typically taken into consideration when you're pricing a market. So like the exchanges get a lot of volume in the UK and Europe and whatever. So like they have tighter markets in general. Like typically no one's offering a 5-cent market if there hasn't been a lot of volume. Typically, right? Typically they kind of go hand in hand, I guess, in a lot of ways. And there are a lot of ways to like consider these things, what markets are like most active, most efficient. But Facebook stock has very tight market width, like a very tight spread, and it trades the most. And it's like they usually go hand in hand in every market, not just sports betting. I don't know what that means. Do you know how to contact Randall? Yeah, bother Randall. I mean, Randall@ojam.com. That's my guy. He was the first user of the site, I believe. On the positive EV page, you have pre-match, live, and then hidden bets tabs. This I've never seen. I didn't even do it. So I didn't add this. So I have no idea. But apparently you can now hide bets. I don't know. I'll have to look into that and get back to you. But I have no idea what this is. I don't really care about it. I'm the guy who places bets and hits positive EV bets. At this point, I solely want to bet on sports. Not actually. But no, we released some new stuff today, like in the beta mode. just kind of like that link I sent earlier, the screen. So a lot of janky stuff, not janky, but new and that people requested in, yeah. So hidden bets, I assume you can just hide a bet after you placed it. Maybe after you add it to your bet tracker, it shows up here. I'm not sure. I need 5 NFL picks for Underdog. Man, I've given out a lot. So of Underdog picks this week, but I do have picks. I mean, I'm not sure if all of them are still available. I had Javonte under 16.5 rushing yards, Juju under 58.5, Gabe Davis under 57.5, Mooney under 40.5, Alave under 62.5. Javonte and Mooney were the two that looked best. Up to you. $50 to win $1,000. Pretty enticing. This one looks, I mean, the math just loves this one. So I don't know. I agree, like, you know, it's gambling for a reason, but there's a lot of value, at least in the line currently being set on Underdog Fantasy for Mooney, right? Like, where's Prize Picks? On Prize Picks, it's they just moved it up. It used to be 29.5. So now we're at 33.5 and 40.5. So still a 7-yard middle for such a low amount. That's like, 20% of his receiving yards. Like of the total, it's like, it's a big middle. So I don't know. That's an option. You got the answer. I guess. So who knows? Maybe I'll go live later tonight, but hopefully everyone found this under. Gabe Davis under. I got him in fantasy. Davis, tough call. I don't know. It looked good. There was value in it initially in the early line, under 57.5. And I played it because I was looking for 5 picks. And this one was incredible. This one still looks pretty good. These two were not questionable, but the Gabe Davis one was a little less good. We can see what Prize Picks currently has the line set at. If we go to Prize Picks has the line 7 yards lower. So if you want to take him over, take it on Prize Picks, not Underdog, because you're getting 7 yards of improvement. 7 yards is a lot, right? That's like 12% of the distribution here, or 12% of like the total. So of the distribution, it's probably like, maybe 20%. It's like a big middle. So, yeah. But anyways, hopefully this was helpful. Any questions? We'll be live again, and feel free to email us, whatever. And hopefully there's a lot of bets throughout tonight. And I'll probably go live sporadically at various times in the middle of the night, in the morning, and throughout the day. And hopefully everyone finds this helpful. So feel free to comment, on the video, anything that is helpful, wasn't helpful. We're happy to do it. Just different types of live videos, talking about bets, just hitting bets, whatever. And it should be fun. I don't know, Slim Dan. You're overcomplicating my pick on Davis, but I did bet it. And how many bets did you place? Should you, man, okay, some questions still coming in. I'm not sure if I understood. Should you avoid a value bet that has a market with over 30 or play it with smaller? No, not necessarily. And what I mean by that is I don't think You love catching Matt at 2 a.m. Like I don't think there's necessarily a black and white to anything. And by that I mean like I definitely have placed bets with market width higher than 30. It's just, there's kind of like, generals and stuff like that. Like you can see points bet, they just moved Falcons plus 1.5 from plus 100 to minus 120. So like this has very tight market width. Great. And is there less liquidity on average when market width is higher or less? Are the markets less active? Definitely. Definitely the markets are less active. So you should tread more carefully, do more research into the bet, do more research into the market, stuff like that. But I don't necessarily think, I don't set up black and whites on anything. Like futures, there is no market width, right? Do I still bet futures? Do I think you can find profitable futures? Yeah. So I guess in general, it's like not bad advice to focus on tighter markets, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can never find a profitable bet with over 30 cents a market with. But it's probably good advice in general to play it smaller or do more research into plays that have more juice baked into their market because the sports books are less confident when they add in more juice on average. So it makes more sense to like look into those bets. Whereas like this bet, in my opinion, is just a slam. Like it's an obvious bet that I want to be on because every bookmaker basically has this outcome favored, except for Caesars. We can get plus money. It's like, yeah, give me that. Judge hit it. Damn. So how many bets did I place today on this stream? 3. Right? I think so. 1, 2, 3. Over 7 Rays Guardians. Over 7.5 Rangers Mariners. That's today. So we can delete that last part. And then this 3 pick on Underdog. Hopefully this was helpful. Let's make some money, guys. See ya.